We have Dr. David Ajibade. He's a general practitioner, executive director, Brain and Body Foundation. He joins us on the program from our Abuja studios. We'd like to thank you for joining us at this time.
Thanks for having me.
All right. First, how does COVID-19 affect one's lungs? What is the impact of that virus on one's lungs?
Well, like you said, it's primarily a respiratory virus. It attacks the respiratory system. So it starts with the upper respiratory tract, the nose, the throat, and then further down. And that's why people lose their smell. That's why you have sore throat. For most people, it stops there. Now, in certain conditions, especially a weak immune system and other issues, it gets down into the lungs, specifically attacking the alveoli cells. The alveoli are like bags, bags of gas, where the exchange happens between the blood vessels and the lung cells. So the oxygen gets into the blood vessels, carbon dioxide goes back in. The virus attacks that part specifically. And that's where the trouble starts, because it sets up a whole host of things. The body reacts to that, causing more damage. And in fact, most of the damage and most of the deaths we're seeing in COVID-19 is not really because of the direct effect of the virus itself on the lungs specifically and on the rest of the body, but because of what is triggered or ignited by the presence of the virus and the activity of the virus in the body. So that's why it's so dangerous to it, because it attacks the parts where gas exchange actually occurs.
We have talked about, and this is healthcare practitioners, the importance of vitamin D. Now, is there any evidence that shows for persons infected with COVID-19 are likely to die if they have vitamin D deficiency?
Well, actually, there's a lot. Just recently, we saw one from Indonesia by scientists and doctors there that showed that there's an alarming percentage of those who had insufficiency or deficiency of vitamin D, and that's when the vitamin D levels in your blood are below 20 nanograms, there it is, 20 nanograms per mil. So that is what they're finding out. And interestingly enough, I mean, we started looking at this for a while. I mean, we were looking at vitamin D when we were working with children with sickle cell disease, for instance. We found out that we're trying to look for something that was safe and was effective for boosting the immune system. And we started working with that, and we saw results with that. But then when this whole COVID-19 thing started, we started saying, okay, where does vitamin D fit? And we started hearing stories all over the world about how vitamin D can actually help. And so, like you see on the screen there, it says it's almost 99% of cases who had very, very low levels of vitamin D are most likely not to survive the ICU and to eventually succumb to the disease. So to some extent, we're seeing, and we're not saying that vitamin D is the whole story behind COVID-19, but it's being duplicated around the world, in the US and the UK, where they're seeing they're seeing that black people are sometimes as much as 4 times as likely to die from COVID-19. And they are beginning to look at vitamin D as a possible factor there. And in fact, I believe it was Tyler Perry, the actor, who came out on Instagram and was really shouting to black people, please take your vitamin D. It seems like vitamin D plays a huge role in this.
Okay. I was just going to quickly ask, if you can, in 20 seconds, tell us how to know if we're getting enough vitamin D and where we can get that. Well,
Bottom line, if you're not in the sun for an hour a day with most of your body exposed, you can take it to the bank that you're not getting enough vitamin D. So my suggestion is that you supplement with vitamin D. And it's available in the pharmacies everywhere now, I believe.
We'd like to appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Dr. David Ajibade, General Practitioner, Executive Director, Brain and Body Foundation. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.